So let's talk about simultaneous contrast. This light square inside of a dark square and this light square inside of a dark square. And we are going to do a comparison. Okay? And as we look at it, can you tell me which value is lighter? And we're not talking about the outside square. Hopefully, really quickly, we can make that decision. The outside square here is darker than this one. I'm under that assumption. I think that we can be fair in guessing that. So let's say which one is lighter and which one is darker within that square, the lighter one. We're talking about, that one inside each square. So it's hard to tell when you've got that distance, right? So one of the first things we're going to do is let's pull them closer together. Now can you tell which one's lighter and which one's darker? Okay, and if you can't, let's take it one step further. Touching. Proximity will always help you. Try to touch when you're painting, when you're looking. Compare things that are next to each other. It will always be easier. Okay, so what did I do? Because originally, hopefully, if I did it right, you might have thought that they might be equal. Well, even though this one is clearly lighter than that one, I put it on a background that didn't have as much contrast, simultaneous contrast. It can work in color, work in value. This gray out here was affecting the gray inside there. And same with this gray out here was affecting the gray inside there. Okay, so remember that because things will influence. When you see something small like a hole through tree branches, it's going to be influenced by those tree branches. And so you need to paint it. It'll appear lighter because of the dark tree branches, but it's actually darker in value. The tree branches are influencing. But that's another topic too that we will be getting into further when we get into actually doing our painting outside. So you might be thinking, well, that wasn't that difficult for me to judge that square in the left corner, that you perceived it lighter. And great if you did. You're on your way and you're going the right direction. But I just want to show how difficult it is sometimes to judge value and how powerful simultaneous contrast is now that we've discussed the point. So these stripes, moving from light to dark, are changing in value, right? And the black behind will be the constant. Okay, that's not changing. That's staying black. So I want you to perceive what's going to happen to this when I change the value of black. Remember, the gradation of grays will be staying the same. Pretty powerful. Let's go back and forth so you can see the difference there. Black background, white background. You see how it can be used to your advantage if you know simultaneous contrast, but it also can be very difficult when you're perceiving something to try to pick the value. And now that you know this is happening, let's do one more. What if we go to a mid-gray? How much this can help us in when we're using value to show light in our environment, but also that if we know that it's changing this drastically, all the more reason to be working piece to piece and not work on this section of a painting and then move over to this section, because sometimes you don't know until you've moved piece by piece to get over there, because the value could change, where it could even be an example of this. So now you're taking a look, and it gets a little difficult to judge on which value is lighter, which value is darker when we start looking at this range right here. Trying to decide, is this lighter, is this darker? That range gets a little difficult, even though their proximity is somewhat close. The drasticness in the background and the simultaneous contrast. Once we take that white out, it's fairly easy to see that it's going deeper in value. Okay. Also remember, we need, just like music, you need a low note to really accentuate a high note, or vice versa. Same with value. We need that deep dark note to make something look bright, or a real light value to make something look dark. Okay, that's it. That's all for simultaneous contrast. Let's move on.